Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan Baker and this is the Twisted Spine. Today I'm going to talk about a piece of equipment that I own that helps me kind of get around and explore a little bit. It's called the Rio Mobility FireFly, and here it is. It's a pretty cool piece of equipment. I've had it for almost 5 years. I think I probably have close to 3,000 miles on this thing. I've taken it to over a half a dozen states. I've taken it overseas to Spain, to Israel, and I use it for just getting around, right? It's not my primary mode of transportation. I don't use it as my personal mobility device other than just to kind of get from point A to point B. If I don't feel like driving or it's just too far of a push, then I can hook this thing up and I can go about 15 miles an hour for up to about 20 miles on this Rio Mobility FireFly. I'm not here to promote the FireFly necessarily. I'm not getting paid by Rio Mobility to do this. I simply just wanted to create a video to show you guys the device, kind of some of the capability, I guess, how it hooks up. Again, about 15 miles an hour at top speed for about 20 miles. And this is an older generation. This is a 36 volt battery, 7.8 amp hours. And so it's a little different than the newer version where the battery is a little smaller and the top speed I think is like 12 miles an hour. This is a 15 mile an hour top speed. I don't know why they changed it. I think the new battery is 24 volt. I don't know the amp hours in the new battery, but I have some friends that have the new one and it performs and does just fine. This is the battery. It's pretty cool, small, lightweight, obviously, not super huge. Here's some of the details on the battery. I don't know how good I can get this here with that reflection, but kind of gives you some idea about, like, you know, the size of the battery. I take this off when I get on the airplane and it goes on carry-on with me. So there's no FAA, like, you know, there's no restrictions. I can just take this thing off of the device. And then what I do actually is I get a gate check for the FireFly and the wheelchair. So both go right on the plane, no problem. I take it right through the airport, literally drive it right through security, and no problem. Here's a better look, something up close. It does have a disc brake over there. It's got 2 calipers, so there's some redundancy. Little control box here, a little headlight, which I've never figured out really how to use. And again, this is the older version, so the way it connects is by these 4 arms here on the device, and then they kind of just line up with these little pawns that are mounted on both sides of the chair. These pawns do make the chair a little bit heavier, but in truth, I use this chair exclusively for the FireFly. So my kind of everyday driver wheelchair does not have these brackets on there. Whenever I want to use the FireFly, I just transfer it into this chair, and I use this chair primarily for the FireFly. I think the MSRP on this thing, brand new, is like 22 or 2,300 bucks. It's not super expensive, but it's also not, you know, there are other brands, right? There's other companies that make these little attachments now. They're becoming more and more popular, more expensive, more power, more range, more speed. But honestly, like, I've had this thing for 5 or 6 years maybe, and like I said, over 3,000 miles, and never really had a huge problem with it. I've gone through a couple different tires. This is a new tire I found on Amazon, Goodyear. Whatever, it fits. Yeah, it's got a little bit of tread to it. The whole unit weighs about 30 pounds or so, 25 or 30 pounds. So it's not extremely heavy. It's light enough for me to take the battery off, lift it in the back of my car, drive somewhere, pull it out, and then I can go from there if I wanted to. It sure has been awesome for me. I love it. It alleviates a lot of stress from the people that I'm with, right? Like if I'm somewhere where holding speed going up a hill, just manually pushing the chair, I'm sweating, I'm working hard, everyone else is just kind of like walking up the hill. It's a little different for us in the chairs, and having this device, man, just really improves the ease and accessibility to things. You can get anywhere. Again, 20 miles on one charge is pretty cool. You can see the use I've got out of it over time. You know, there's some really rusty parts and different things. You know, my dog chewed on the mud flap. It's just one thing I think that's different here is that this version has a twist. Oh, look at it's on, like a twist throttle. Okay. The other version, the newer versions, have like a thumb here for forward, and then a thumb over here for reverse, and that's the new version. My forward and reverse is just on this little toggle switch there. I just hit this, and that's forward and reverse. So yeah, this thing has been just awesome for me. I love it. I would recommend it to anyone. That would be, you know, if you've ever considered anything like this before, it's just been an awesome piece of equipment for me. I'm gonna just drive it into the ground, right, until it's just not functional anymore. I'll keep putting new tires on it as needed, and but there it is, guys, the Rio Mobility FireFly. If I'm missing anything, if you guys have questions about it, if you know something about it that I didn't mention and you want to leave a comment, great. Again, I'm not really here to promote the FireFly necessarily. Again, there's different brands, different companies that are doing this, and it really just kind of depends on how deep your pocket is and how fast you want to go, how far do you want to go, how heavy will it be, can you know, lift it, get it in and out of places on your own. Be careful about the size of the battery too, because if the battery is too big, then you might not be able to fly with it. But this battery is just right, and I've, again, never really had any major problems with it. Yeah, Rio Mobility FireFly, guys. I'll try and get some shots as I'm underway here. I'm gonna get it hooked back up, get going, and I'll try and get some footage of me just like using it. I'm gonna be like cruising up this path here and kind of exploring a little bit. All right, guys, so I'm hooked up and I'm gonna get back on the bike path here. Using one hand, I got the twist throttle. You can hear the motor working, and I'm gonna start heading up this hill here. Let's see how long it takes. I'll just kind of open it up here. Battery is not fully charged. I've been on the road for about 8 or 10 miles already this morning. So on a full charge, or when the battery's, you know, got a good charge overnight or whatever, it'll have a little bit more punch in the throttle. You can kind of hear the motor. A little art installation here. This is it, guys. Rio Mobility. Rio Mobility FireFly. Also, over the years, I busted my screen. Kind of see it's a little cracked, a little crazy. I lost my odometer, my miles per hour, but obviously doesn't affect how the device performs. So here we are, just kind of cruising along. This little button here will change your speed. The motor has 5 different speed levels, so you can change how aggressive you want the motor to be. I'm just gonna kind of fly down the path here. No cross traffic. Going about 15 miles an hour right there. Onto the street, no problem. So I have the speed setting pretty low, so the engine, the motor's not really catching. Not a big deal. Just gonna punch it up here, and then you're gonna hear the motor engage a little bit. Just gonna coast. Again, long distances, just beats pushing and better than driving, you know? Pretty good. Get on the bike path here.